Hi, this is Dana Weiss, and I have chosen the Bernini sculpture St. Teresa's Ecstasy as my subject. This sculpture was commissioned by Cardinal Federico Cornaro. It was created by Gian Bernini during the Baroque era for the Cornaro family chapel in the Church of Santa Maria della Vittoria in Rome. Teresa was the grandchild of a Spanish Jew who had been forced to convert to Christianity during the Inquisition. In 1515, she joined the convent and was around the age of 20. She was a Carmelite nun and became a theologian, a writer, and a mystic. It was not until the 1550s, though, that she began to experience visions, as she had recorded in her autobiography. The Catholic Church had begun its Counter-Reformation to affirm its power and attract more followers. So the leaders called for art that would capture the attention, stimulate the senses, and elevate the soul. This sculpture was designed to convey all of those aspects. This particular piece expresses time and motion that was evident in the Baroque sculptures. This scene doesn't take place before or after her experience, but during. In her account, St. Teresa describes an angel carrying a fire-tipped spear with which he pierces her heart repeatedly, an act that sends her into a state of spiritual rapture. She said, "The pain was so severe that it made me utter several moans. The sweetness caused by this intense pain is so extreme that one cannot possibly wish it to cease, nor is one's soul then content with anything but God." Despite being made of marble, the two that are set on a cloud seem to float weightlessly, which might be actually a reference to the levitation that was mentioned in the textbook. You can see in these close-up pictures to come that the detail in this sculpture is really amazing. You can see the curve of her mouth and the little indent underneath her nose, and she even has a little row of teeth inside her mouth there. This picture shows the hand of the angel, and he's holding the fabric of Teresa's dress really gently here, and the folds of fabric are very realistic and convey such a sense of softness. I think it's interesting in this picture how the angel is holding the arrow. He's holding it lightly and with a gentle touch rather than a fierce grip like he's going to stab her with it. So I think that kind of conveys the gentleness and the love that you can also see on his face. This picture, it might be a little bit better in the textbook if you want to look closer there, but I wanted you to take note of the detail, not just in the fabric, but also in the hands and the feet. You can see the knuckles here in her hand and how her toes bend so realistically. You can look at the right foot that's resting up on a cloud kind of underneath there, and you can see wrinkles in her arch like she's pushing her toes downward. This piece is actually the center of an incredible composition that brings together sculpture, painting, and architecture that were all designed by Bernini. This work is often described as a total work of art, using a variety of elements that were all presented together in a theatrical setting. The sculpture itself is set in a niche above and behind the altar with marble columns on either side. It's illuminated by a hidden window above it. The light reflects off of the golden shafts behind the sculpture, which could be sun rays, as some of the readings that I have done have said, but I think it's more likely supposed to be light from heaven, like the glory of God. On the walls, to both the left and the right of the sculpture, Bernini included a gallery of box seats, which were to include members of the Cornaro family, like they were observing the event. One account I read actually says that the family members are on the left side of the altar, and on the right side were church representatives. This was apparently to authenticate the scene as a genuine spiritual experience that was approved by the Catholic Church. This sculpture was very well liked in Bernini's lifetime, but later on it was really criticized for its overt sensuality and eroticism. But even so, Teresa was canonized in the year 1622, and in 1970, Pope Paul VI honored her as a doctor of the Church. This title has only been given to 3 women in the history of Catholicism. That is it. Thank you so very much for watching.